You think buying land makes you somebody? Sweetheart, I decide who lives here and you don't qualify. That's what she said on my very first morning, before I'd even finished unloading the truck. 3 sheriff cruisers boxed me in, blue lights pulsing to the mountain dawn, like I'd already been judged guilty just for showing up. She was standing right at the invisible line where my property began, and her little empire ended. Light blue power suit, so sharp it looked like it could cut glass. Silver bob catching the morning sun. Clipboard raised like a judge's gavel. Francine Wexford, HOA president for over a decade. Her sunglasses alone cost more than my first car. She had forced out 17 families, bankrupted 4, and drove an old veteran away over a mailbox color. But what she didn't know was simple. My land wasn't in her HOA, not even a corner of it. The county records had confirmed it twice. And second, I wasn't just some newcomer. I'd spent 11 years with the Army Corps of Engineers, boundary disputes, deeds, right-of-way law, courtroom testimony. I knew exactly how these games were played. Third, and this was the part you would regret, I owned the road. Every inch of it. The only asphalt leading up the mountain. The only way in or out of her so-called kingdom. And she had just given me a reason to shut it down whenever I wanted. My moving truck was old, nearly falling apart, but I didn't care. I tracked miles, easements, and legal boundaries in my head like other people tracked weather. In America, roads aren't just roads, they're control. This place was 47 acres of timberland and a 1923 lodge with a view worth millions, buried in foreclosure listings, so deep it might as well have been hidden. But what caught my eye were 4 words: private road access designation. I paid extra for the full title search and waited for sleepless nights. When the documents arrived, I knew I'd found something solid. That mountain road had a name, Ridgeline Pass carved into an old wooden sign, weathered, hand-cut letters fading with time. I stopped there, ran my fingers across it, and felt something I couldn't quite explain. That's when the white Mercedes came roaring up behind me. Too fast for a welcome, too intentional to be casual. Francine stepped out with 2 men, one with a notebook, the other in tactical gear pretending to be security. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she said, voice sweet with poison underneath. "I appreciate the visit," I replied calmly, "but I'm not part of your association." Her smile tightened. "You're adjacent. That comes with expectations." She pointed at the road like she owned the concept of it. "We maintain it. We control it." I just listened. Let her talk. People like her always think noise equals authority. Then she turned to her assistant. "Carlton, make sure Mr. Holt receives our community standards." He scribbled nervously, like the paper might save him from her tone. The other man just stood there, silent muscle, with no real purpose. "We're installing a gate," she added. "Security purposes. You'll need a code." "A gate," I said, "on a public access road?" "Community access," she corrected immediately, like wording changed reality. She handed me a thick folder, smiled like she'd already won, and told me my paint choices were unacceptable before leaving in her Mercedes like a queen exiting her court. Carlton lingered, handed me another envelope, muttered something about compliance, then disappeared. I stood there flipping through 43 pages of HOA rules, grass height, mailbox angles, paint codes, plus one old reference to a 1987 easement survey. I actually laughed, because I had the original 1951 deed locked in a fireproof safe, signed by my grandfather. This road had never belonged to them, and now I had the proof. They didn't realize how fast things move once paperwork starts speaking louder than people. Within 27 hours, Francine had already dragged the sheriff's department into it. I was unloading boxes when Deputy Vance Harlow arrived, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "We've had complaints," he said. "Trespassing, blocking access, suspicious activity." I set down the box and handed him my deed. The moment he read it, his posture changed. "The complainant says it's community infrastructure," he added cautiously. "The complainant is wrong," I replied, "or lying. Either way, she has no authority here." He studied me for a moment, then asked about my background. When I told him, He exhaled slowly. She's got connections, he warned. County commissioner's family. I'll handle it, I said, and I keep records. He handed the deed back. Just be careful. She doesn't take no well. After that, the harassment started. Violations appeared like clockwork. On my mailbox at sunrise, on my door by noon. Grass too tall. Paint wrong. Mailbox off by inches. Noise complaints at impossible hours. Each one carried fines. Each one threatened liens. But none of it was legal, so I documented everything. Photos, timestamps, a growing binder of evidence. In this world, paperwork isn't paper, it's ammunition. Carlton became the delivery boy, shaking every time he handed me another notice. On day 5, I stopped him in the driveway. You know this is harassment, right? I said quietly, I'm just doing my job, he stammered. You're enforcing illegal orders. I replied, that makes you part of it. He went pale and left quickly after that. On day 14, I returned from town to find a steel gate blocking my road. Heavy industrial, locked down like a prison entrance. A man named Durwood Sloan stood beside it, acting like it meant something. Residents only, he said. I own this road. I replied, not according to my employer. He shot back. I smiled slightly. Your employer just installed an illegal structure on a private road. State inspector arrives in 4 hours. Then I made one call to the Department of Transportation. By the time I finished speaking, the color had drained from his face. I walked around the gate anyway. He didn't stop me. That night, I sat inside the lodge surrounded by old maps, deeds, and my grandfather's notes. One line was written in the margin. This road is family protected. He had died before I was born. I never knew him. But somehow, standing there, I finally understood what he meant. Weeks later, things escalated again. 2 SUVs blocked my drive. Men in tactical vests stepped out, demanding verification like they had authority. I started recording immediately. Impersonating law enforcement, I said calmly. That's a serious charge. They hesitated. After a tense silence, the order came, let me pass, but keep surveillance. As I drove through, Durwood muttered, this isn't over. It already is, I replied. You just don't know it yet. That night, a call came from someone unexpected, the HOA treasurer. His voice shook as he spoke. He had records, payments, fraud, forced buyouts. 17 families pushed out. Why tell me? I asked. Because she's going too far, he said. And someone has to stop her. Days later, a USB drive arrived. 7 years of financial fraud, fake surveys, and a development plan worth millions, built on land she never owned. That's when I called the state. If federal funds were used on falsified surveys, I asked. FBI territory. Came the answer. That's prison. I sent everything. Then came the emergency HOA meeting. Francine stood at the front, waving her forged documents like scripture. We must protect our community, she declared, when she called for a vote to sue me. I stood up. That survey is fake, I said. Silence fell instantly. She tried to shut it down, but I kept walking forward. You've been spending federal money on land you don't own, I said, through a falsified boundary survey tied to your family connections. The room shifted. People started whispering. Then the treasurer stood up. He's right. I have the books. Before anyone could respond, the doors burst open. Deputy Harlow, state inspector, 2 FBI agents. Francine froze. She tried to run, but an agent stepped in her path. We have questions about federal fraud, he said calmly. She pointed at me. He's a threat. The agent glanced at her. Actually, he helped expose it. And just like that, everything collapsed. Handcuffs clicked. Voices erupted. Power shifted in real time. Carlton sat down shaking. Durwood dropped his badge. The system she built fell apart in minutes. 6 months later, she was sentenced. 8 years. Her husband got 12. The commissioner followed with his own conviction. The gate came down. The road was returned. The HOA dissolved. 17 families were compensated, and life slowly returned to something close to normal. Some people think roads are just asphalt. They're not. They decide who gets to come and go, who gets to stay free, who holds power. Francine thought she owned it all, but ownership isn't noise or authority. It's the deed, and in the end, the deed always wins.